Hi, Richard Norton here with Kapow TV. I'm standing here with Mark Shaleko, a good friend of mine from Sydney. Mark is recently retired as superintendent in the New South Wales Police Force, has his own full-time centre now, as you can see, Bujitsu Martial Arts. Incredible martial artist, been passionate about martial arts all his life, so just great to have an opportunity to have a little chat. Welcome to Kapow.
Thanks, Richard. Great to see you again, mate.
Tell me about your school, first of all.
Sure.
How is it all going?
Sure, it's going fantastic. We've just doubled in size. Recently I left the New South Wales Police Force and decided to go full-time, and we've managed to double our numbers. We're doing extremely well, teaching a lot of different arts.
Now, so how long, well, it's only recently you've retired from the police force, and so tell me your martial arts origin. When did you get started?
Look, I started in my high school hall back at Evans High School in Blacktown. A Shotokan guy decided to come to the school and set up and started teaching Shotokan karate. I thought I might give it a go, and for whatever reason it was, I don't really know why I did it. I just did it, and I've sort of stuck with it since.
Now, martial arts in the police, is there a lot of, how's the training there, you know, for recruits and people within the force? I mean, there's been a lot of talk about the necessity because of the violence out in the streets these days. We read about King's Cross and all that. Is there much of a training program involving martial arts for the police?
Look, unfortunately not, Richard. Normally, your normal police officer would receive 4 hours a year of unarmed combat, you know, how to deal with people with their hands, another 4 hours of how to use their weapons. So basically how they survive is by their weapons and numbers. They try to work on a ratio of always two officers to one offender, and of course they've got their capsicum spray, they've got their tasers, they've got their expendable batons, and they've got their firearms.
Why, Mark? Why do you think? Why is there a lack of impetus to sort of get some really effective, at least empty hand training sort of syllabus in the police force? Because obviously the one thing that even, you know, anybody, let alone a policeman, he doesn't want to go and use extreme levels of force. One would think that having the confidence of a good martial arts ability to manipulate, to hold and control people would be a better way to go, wouldn't you think?
It is. Look, you need to be able to control people when you're trying to ask people. When you're asking people to do things they don't want to do, occasionally you've got to put your hands on them. Right. And you need to be able to control people. I really don't know why. That's something I've struggled with over 23 years. Why didn't we receive more training? Maybe we would have had a lot less officers injured. But I think at the end of the day it comes down to money. It costs a lot of money to take police officers off the road. Really the priority for the police force, and my priority when I was a commander, was, you know, get your cops in the trucks responding to the urgent calls 24/7. To take police officers off the street and train them means we need to increase our police numbers. So basically, if we wanted to give each police officer a week of unarmed training a year, for example, that means, well, we might have to increase our police force by 3,000 or 4,000 so that we can cover those officers when they're off the street. And it's a lot of money.
But I would look at the chances of civil suits and everything else, and lawsuits, and from maybe physical violence on perpetrators and everything. I mean, with a better trained police force, surely in the end it's got to be more cost effective. I mean, maybe I'm wrong.
Well, we think that. I know the New South Wales Police Force got pretty deep pockets, and when it comes to civil litigation, they're paying a lot out. And they have been for many years, and they'll probably continue to keep paying.
Oh, interesting. Yeah, anyway, that's another thought. But look, getting back to your school, tell me again what you're providing at Bujitsu Martial Arts.
Karate Jitsu, Arnis, BJJ under you, of course, and Muay Thai. We have a really large kids program. I'm doing a lot of self-defense seminars in schools. I run self-defense seminars for ladies. Most of the Karate Jitsu that I teach is stuff that I found would be useful for police officers on the street. So, you know, when I put my syllabus together, I thought, well, what would I do if somebody did this to me as a police officer? And I developed techniques from there. A lot of knife work, a lot of firearm. All the stuff that was practical and relevant to a police officer has gone into my syllabus, and a lot of the stuff you taught me as well.
Well, you know, and I think, you know, as we know with the martial arts, when we started, well, when I started particularly, all they did was judo because that's all there was, and there was karate because that's all there was. And now it's very much an MMA world, as we call it, not meaning pertaining just to the UFC, but just mixing martial arts. And I think it's very much about reality-based training, isn't it? It's about giving people skills for the real world and trying to sort of not just focus on, I don't know, the comfort of the actual dojo where you know you're safe.
Yeah, look, I started like everyone else, in lines where you're up and down the dojo for an hour and a half, doing your basics. But now people want techniques that can be used to save themselves on the street. And I try to focus on reality-based self-defence. If it's not something they can use, well, I don't worry about teaching that as a general principle.
Right. You know what the good thing is, I've been to Mark's school and everything. The thing that, same with George Adams and everything, you're still getting schools that really appreciate the etiquette that goes with the martial arts and the dojo and the traditional values. And I think that's one of the most important things. People look at it, well, you're teaching these combative schools and violence, and it's not about that. It's really giving the people the confidence and having the skills that they don't need to go that physical route. And I love when I go into your school, the Georgia school, and we line up and we bow and we meditate. And I think for kids especially, as role models, if they can see us as adults being respectful to each other and respectful to our training environment, I think that's a really healthy message.
Yeah, the tradition, the traditional aspects of respect and courtesy, loyalty, they're all very important. It's something we reinforce all the time. And if we can combine that, like you said, with today's reality, with today's community and what's happening out in society, I think we can go a long way.
Yeah, excellent. Thank you, Mark. Very much appreciated. Again, anyone in Sydney, same as I said with Dr. Adams, if you want to go to Bujutsu Martial Arts, I'm sure it's an open mat. Come and enjoy the arts. And it's a great community we have in Australia with martial arts. It used to be very political. I think it's a lot more open now. We're very eager, hopefully, to get together and just share each other's knowledge. So all the best for the school, Mark, and I appreciate and enjoy your retirement from the police force.
Thanks, Richard, mate. I'm living the dream.